Hi everybody, it's me, Morgan, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Morgan and I recently got accepted for the Disney College Program Spring 2022 season. So I'm going to be giving you guys some advice on before you apply for the Disney College Program, while you are applying for the Disney College Program, and right after you get accepted into the Disney College Program. So that's how this video is going to be set up. Also, I'm gonna put some helpful links in the description below that will help you guys do your research on the Disney College Program. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's get on to it. So the first section of advice I have is before you apply to the Disney College Program. So the first major tip that I have before you go to apply to the Disney College Program is to do your research on the Disney College Program and do your research on the overall Walt Disney Company. I feel like if you do research on both, it'll give you a full understanding, a full background of what you could possibly be getting yourself into. So what is involved in this research? So the first thing that you should definitely research is the Disney 5 keys. These are super important, and they'll also, not to spoil anything, but they'll be super important later on when we talk about your application process. So research those, definitely know those off the top of your head. Also get to know the roles. There are, I think, there's over 20 roles that you could possibly get on the program. So definitely do your research on what roles, because as of recently, as of this last program at least, I was not able to choose which roles I was interested in. It was kind of just you apply and whatever you get is what you get. So my previous program, when I first applied, I was allowed to choose if it was low interest, no interest, high interest, but now they're kind of just throwing you in there. Another thing you're going to want to research is understand your fees, the housing, sorry, I'm looking down at my notes. Fees, housing, time off, working on holidays, and kind of what season you really want to do the Disney College Program in. So fees, as of right now, as of my last program, fees were $425, which is very expensive. These fees are non-refundable. So definitely, if you get accepted, or before you start this process, definitely know if you're going to have $425 by the time you get accepted into the program, because you have 7 days to pay the fee, and like I said before, it's not refundable, so definitely know that. Also, working, you're going to be working between, I think I've seen 32 to 38 hours a week. I've seen 40. I've seen 38 to 40. It really depends. It depends on the holidays. It depends on everything. It depends on what they need. So just know it depends on your location as well. So just know that you could be working a lot and at random shifts, anytime, any day, anyway. Also, speaking of shifts, you have to be okay with working holidays. You have to know that you have to be okay with working those shifts and working on those holidays. It might be difficult for some people, might not be difficult for others. So definitely just know if you're applying to a certain season, definitely know what holidays there are, and if you're not okay with missing them, then maybe you should think about applying to the other season. Also, before you apply and you look at the seasons and you get everything down, make sure that you don't have any major life events that you're not willing to miss. I know a lot of people have weddings, I know a lot of people have vacations, and it's very difficult to get days off on the Disney College Program. I personally have my graduation in February. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go to the actual ceremony, but that's something that I had to give up to do this program, because I don't think they're going to give me the 2 days off or the 3 days off that I would need to fly back up here, graduate, and then fly back down. So that's definitely something that you have to keep in mind, is keep in mind your important events. So where can you find these resources? So the Disney College Program website is a great place to find resources. YouTube is a fantastic resource, and there are thousands of other YouTubers out there that make the same kind of content. So definitely watch their videos. Watch all of them as much as possible, honestly, so that you can feel well prepared for your program. So this next tip that I have for you guys follows the research aspect of the DCP, is to pick which season you want to apply for. Research it with your school, because you do have to be enrolled in a college to do the Disney College program. Make sure everything works around your college. You don't want to mess up your college and have to graduate later because you were doing the Disney College program. You can list out your own pros and cons of each season based on like your school, based on your personal preferences, based on social events that you have in your life. Definitely don't just like choose a random program. Choose something that, like, you know, you're not going to regret the season that you chose. My next tip before you apply is sit down and really consider if this is something you really want to do. You also have to consider living on your own. When I mean by living on your own, I mean you're going to have roommates, but you have to consider like living on your own, quote unquote. You'll be with roommates, but like your own thing. Also sit down and look at your financial aspect of your life. You're definitely not going to be making thousands of dollars on the Disney College program. You're going to just be making enough to live. So set those expectations in advance. Don't go in with the mindset of, I'm going to be making thousands of dollars. I'm going to buy all the merchandise. I'm going to have money to do this, have money to do this, have money to do this. Prioritize where your money would go. And like before you like even think about applying, just see if you have enough to like live on your own. You do make money, but that money goes to rent and groceries. And then if you have a car, gas and car bills. If you don't have a car, then you don't have to worry about those last two things, but you do have to worry about the other two things. And by the time you have enough money left over, like it's not going to be a lot after taxes and stuff like that. It's not going to be a lot. This is an experience internship, and it's literally more for the experience. You're not going for something crazy. You're going to like just have fun, you're literally living on Disney property. Like, what could get better than that? So this next tip I did mention before, but I just wanted to reiterate what I was saying. So the next tip I have for you guys before you apply is to budget and to actually see if you can afford to do this program. Like I said before, you're not going to be making a lot of money. You're just going to be making enough to pay the rent, which Disney does take out of your paycheck every week, and it's about $200 a week. Then you're going to have groceries. Depending on how many groceries you buy, it could be between $60 and $100 a week on that. And like afterwards, you're going to use that money for like other stuff, merchandise, anything else. If you have a car, or if you're bringing a car down, you have to remember that you have to pay for gas and you have to pay for your bills. So some of that money has to go to that. So know that you are like financially stable enough and in a good position where you can get through. So my next tip for you guys, I wasn't sure I was going to put it in here, but I have found this tip to be super helpful sometimes. So I'm going to put it in here, but I'm going to give a little like discretion. So join Disney College Program Facebook groups. Now that sounds like a good idea, which it is a good idea, but there are some pros and there are some cons. The pros to joining a Disney College Program Facebook group is that you will literally know anything and everything at every point in time. I remember when I went to go apply for this program, somebody knew applications were coming out on the 14th at 8 o'clock in the morning when Disney hadn't even uploaded anything. And literally probably like an hour later, somebody was like, oh my god, applications just dropped. The information wasn't even on the website yet. So like all of us in the group chat were able to apply literally before they came out, which was like, yay. So like, you know anything, everything. You get to meet a lot of new friends. You get to talk with people. It is nice for making friends. The cons to the Disney College Program Facebook page. When acceptances start coming out and NLICs, which is a no longer in consideration, start coming out. I don't know why I'm doing it like this. When they start coming out, people get a little aggressive. What I mean by that is that people, for example, somebody gets accepted in my last program, literally, that when they did the test wave, somebody was like, oh my gosh, I just got accepted. And so all of us were confused on what was happening and didn't understand what was happening. And so somebody, not gonna name names, commented on the bottom of their Facebook post and said, this can't be real, this is fake. Oh my gosh, it's too early. And they had already been NLIC'd, so they were frustrated and they didn't understand what they had done wrong, and they had been applying to the program for a lot. So I mean, I understand that they're frustrated, but to take it out on somebody who just got an acceptance is like, eh. So just know, if you join a Facebook page, just be aware that some people can get a little mean, which, I mean, it's social media. What do we expect? People are kind of mean on that platform anyways. It may be a Disney Facebook page, but there are still some people that can get a little angry. So just be mindful of that, but it doesn't happen often. So that's why I definitely wanted to suggest this. My last tip before you guys apply to the Disney College program is to definitely follow some recruiters on social media. One of the top recruiters to follow is Recruiter Christy. She definitely posts a ton of Disney stuff, and she posts like when waves are happening, she posts like when acceptances, when applications, when web-based interviews are going out, like she posts everything. So definitely follow some of them. There's also plenty of other recruiters on social media, so definitely follow them because I do have a lot of good Disney College program insight. For my next section of advice, we are going to go over the application process, which is a super fun and super exciting time, but also very nerve-wracking. So my first tip of advice during your application process is to not stress. I know that I stressed out. I know that's very hard to stress out, but this should be a fun opportunity. It should be a fun application process. You shouldn't be freaking out, you shouldn't be crying. Like, I mean, if you're crying, happy crying, then like that's good. But it shouldn't be anything too crazy. Which, when I say don't stress, I mean just don't freak out. It's an application. Just treat it as if it were anything normal, even though you're applying to Disney. Also, don't compare your application process to anybody else. There are some people that will apply on the first day when applications go out, and they may not hear back for another 2 weeks for their web-based interview, where there's some people who apply on the first day, get their web-based interview literally an hour later, and complete the whole process within the first day. So don't compare your application process with somebody else's, because there's no rhyme or reason why they're all over the place. It just happens. This used to be another thing that we would say on my first program, because we had the phone interviews, and so it definitely took a longer time to hear back from the DCP to hear if we got accepted or not. We used to say that no news is good news. If you have been waiting for a web-based interview for a week and you're still in consideration, that's good. If you waited that week and got an NLIC, which is no longer in consideration, that's bad. So like, you don't want to hear anything on the Disney College program unless if it's good news. So we normally say no news is good news. My next tip to you guys is to have an easy read resume. What I mean by this is don't have a crazy resume. There is a spot on your application where you can put your most recent 5 work experiences, 5 volunteer experiences. You can put like whatever experiences you want in those 5 sections, and that's what the computer reads. Don't write an essay. Just bullet everything so that the computer can pick it up. My next tip of advice is super important. If you don't take anything out of this video, take this part out. Use keywords in your resume. What I mean by keywords is, remember the Disney 5 keys that I had mentioned earlier? Right here. They are what the computer is looking for. If you somehow like incorporate these words into your resume, the computer's like, oh, we got somebody. We picked somebody. This person's good. Put those in your resume. So, for example, we've got 2 examples actually. So the first example I have is that don't use customer in your resume. I know a lot of people who worked retail jobs, including myself. I used customer on my old resume, but now I use guest on my new resume because that is what Disney is looking for. Disney does not call their customers. They call them guests. Disney calls them guests. So anybody who comes into the park is considered a guest, not a customer. So definitely, if you're, for example, retail, you say assisting customers. Change customers to guests to say assisting guests, and the computer's gonna get super excited to read your application. Say, for example, I'm gonna use, which one should I use? I should use safety. For example, safety. For putting stuff away safely, stocking shelves efficiently. I gave you 2 examples. I could do another one. Being courteous to guests, that's a 2-pointer. So definitely use these keywords in your resume because the computer is absolutely going to pick these up. Use keywords. I cannot stress that enough. My next tip for you guys is to reread your application over multiple times and make sure you know exactly everything it's asking for, and make sure that everything that you have put is the most accurate information you have. When I was applying this last time, I got a little bit confused about the application dates because normally they had, on my last program, they had like if you wanted to do, like for example, you wanted to do fall, regular fall season, or if you wanted to do fall advantage. So the difference between those two is that fall is shorter and fall advantage is the longer program. So I was confused by picking the dates, so I literally picked January 10th to November 11th. And I didn't really think anything of it until 2 days later when I was like, how many months is that? It's quite a few months. So I did end up reaching out to the recruiters, and they said, unfortunately, because I had already submitted my application and everything like that, I couldn't go back and fix anything, and neither could they. So definitely make sure that you understand every piece of the application before you submit it. My next tip of advice for you guys is to check your dashboard every single day, regardless of anything. Because when you receive, like for example, when you receive the web-based interview, you only have 3 days to complete it. If you don't check your dashboard within those 3 days, you lose it. So you don't want to miss any of these dates. Also, if you do get accepted into the Disney College program, you have 7 days to process your acceptance and make your acceptance official. So make sure you're definitely checking your dashboard. This isn't really a tip or advice or anything, but I just wanted to say, if you don't get an email or if you don't get a notification after you complete, for example, your web-based interview, don't panic. That's pretty normal. Disney doesn't really send out like, you've completed this emails. They just like leave you guessing and you're like, ah. So if you complete something and don't get an email, don't stress about it. It's okay. Don't you love when your camera dies when you're trying to film a video? Anyways, on to my favorite part of this video, your acceptance! If you got accepted into the Disney College program, congratulations. You should be super proud of yourself. It is definitely a difficult program to get into, and if you made it this far, congratulations. The first tip I want to give to you is to just take a minute and take it all in. Like, you just got accepted into Disney and will be moving to Disney World within a matter of months, within a matter of days, within a matter of weeks. You're going to Disney World. You're living in Disney World. Like, just take a minute. I know that I regret not taking a minute to myself and just like, it hasn't hit me yet, and I don't think it will hit me until like I'm actually going to Florida for this program. But take a minute and just be like, oh my god, I did it, congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back. This is great, this is fantastic, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. So take a minute to yourself to just like, you did it. This next piece of advice has to do with paying everything on time. As I mentioned earlier, fees are expensive. So if you check to make sure before you apply that you had the money to pay the fees, and you won't have an issue. But make sure you pay and do everything on time, because they do give you that limited time frame, and if you don't complete it, then you lose that acceptance. So make sure everything is paid on time, everything is done on time. You really can't lose that acceptance. Next tip of advice I have for you is, after you've taken a little bit of time for yourself, go on the Disney Facebook pages and create a roommate survey or create a friends survey. They intertwine, or they're both the same thing. So what this is it's pretty much like they give you an outline, and then you just type in everything. Like, you type in your name, you type in your favorite ride, you type in blah 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 blah. You create this roommate survey, and you add a couple pictures of yourself, and you upload it to Facebook, and people will start commenting. Friends will start being like, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Snapchat, here's my phone number. Make friends. Like, you got into the program, and 99% of these people have already been accepted as well. So you'll see them on your program. Make as many friends as possible. Also, keep in mind that you are definitely going to look for roommates. I know that I'm not sure if we are allowed to choose roommates this coming semester or season, sorry. I'm not sure if we're allowed to choose roommates, but hopefully we can link up with one other person. Definitely look for another roommate, or look for friends, look for roommates, look for just have a blast and talk to people. They're Disney people. Just have a conversation. My next tip of advice for you is to, I know it's early, but just start planning how you're gonna get down to Florida, where you're staying before you check in, who's coming with you, what are you bringing. Like, create a plan. Choose if you're flying or if you're driving. Choose if you want to stay in a hotel or if you want to stay in a condo. I know it's early, but stuff starts to book up fast. I know that people had issues with hotels, like booking closer. If you book closer to the date that you got accepted, like the date, your check-in day, if you're starting to look for hotels literally the month before, you're gonna have difficulty finding hotels super close. So my tip for you guys is definitely to book stuff in advance. Start planning. And I know it seems super early, but like literally when I first got accepted, I had 100 days left to my program. I literally have 78 days now. Like, time flies. Time flies when you're supposed to be going to Disney World. As I've said throughout multiple times in this video, now I'm going to make it an official piece of advice. Create a budget plan. Now, this is where you actually need to sit down and create a budget, like a budget for yourself. Excel is a great tool to use if you want to make a budget. Also, I did find on Amazon, I was looking for like these budget notebooks. Amazon is a perfect place to find these budget books, and I didn't even know they existed until like I saw them on Amazon. But it literally has like, it looks like almost like a monthly planner, but it's for like your money. So unless if you're a computer savvy person, or unless if you like to keep your money on the books, choose which way you're going to budget your money, because you want to keep track of all the money you're making to make sure that you can afford stuff while you're down there. Because if you're not keeping track of your money and you're going out to dinner every night and you're paying for a Universal Pass and you're also paying for a memory maker, because I don't think CPs get them anymore. If you're paying for that plus merchandise on top of that plus groceries plus you're gonna be like, where the heck is my money going? How much money am I actually making? So definitely start like creating a budget plan and get the details in. Don't miss anything. Add everything, because you never know if that could be a possibility. My next tip and my final tip of advice for this video is to watch DCP videos and get excited about your program. There are millions of videos for the Disney College program. As I said earlier, there are tons of YouTubers, there are tons of great people that film their DCP, that film apartment tours, they film days off, they film week in my life, they film literally everything Disney College program related. You can also follow these people on Instagram. I know a lot of them do social media. Follow them and just like get excited. Like, you're gonna be living their life in a few months. You're gonna be doing this program in a few months. You're gonna be living your best life in a few months. So definitely take advantage of these videos to get you excited. Also, watch videos of the park and just listen to Disney music whenever possible, because that's what I'm doing right now. I hope you all enjoyed my video. I hope you learned something. I hope you take something away from this video. Good luck on your application process, and if you have been accepted into the Disney College program, congratulations. You're going to Disney. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!